Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to some more F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today we are here for the Japanese Grand Prix, and that of course you guys know by now is my favourite race on the calendar, along with Spa probably as the top two tracks in F1, but this one especially because I think it's a lot more realistic in terms of how the track is in-game compared to Belgium. But with that said guys, first of all I want to say a massive thank you as we've just hit 52,000 subs on the channel, and the support on my team on the last week or so has been insane. We've actually gained quite a few subs, so I'm really happy with that, and I've been putting some effort into the thumbnails, the titles and the videos themselves, and the extra 5% is making a big difference, so I'm really thankful for all the support guys on the channel recently. With that said, if you did miss the previous episode guys, at the Russian Grand Prix in which there was a regulation change confirmed, and by a regulation change I mean a huge regulation change, then go check it out guys. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of your screen, so go see that video and see what you may have missed. But today we're going to jump into things here at Japan, and fingers crossed we could try and have a strong race weekend and potentially extend our lead in both the drivers and constructors championships, as we are getting very close now to securing those championships. But guys, if you're going to enjoy today's video, as always, smash the like button. Let's see if we can try and hit 900 likes for today's video, and subscribe for more daily F1 content, and let's get today's episode underway. Here we are then once again on the laptop, and you can see on screen the weather forecast this weekend looks very promising. No rain expected, which is great. We then move over to the R&D graph, and we do have another engine upgrade on the car this weekend for the fuel, but besides that, that is going to be our final upgrade of the season now. And you can see Ferrari bringing upgrades, Racing Point as well, Williams, and also Renault. So quite a few upgrades lower down the field, but for us, we are now done this season. You know, our attention now turns to next year's car, and you know, preparing for the regulation change, because things could be changing quite soon. You know, Ricciardo's retiring. We've got a regulation change on 3 out of the 4 departments, so there's a lot going on, and then some rumours regarding the engine as well that might change. So a lot of things are happening, and I've got to start preparing for that. So we jump into practice, and as usual try to gather a bunch of R&D points to hopefully spend those at the end of this episode on protecting upgrades. And to be fair, a pretty good session. We go quickest of all, pretty much a second quicker than Daniel Ricciardo. We got second place once again. It's a 1-2 finish for us in practice, and with that we move into the final results of the acclaim and also the regionals points. Once again, over 1,000 points scored, which is pretty much routine at this point, which is great. And also in terms of acclaim, Ricciardo very close to level 17 before he retires at the end of the season. And finally, we're then going to move into qualifying. Now, just before that, we're going to quickly put on our final fresh engine components for the rest of the season, guys, and these should be hopefully enough to take us over the line and give us that extra bit of power, that extra 2-3% that we need to really stay on top, and that will almost count as like a minor upgrade in itself. So here we are then, qualifying time at Suzuka, the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar of course, and we're going to get things straight underway here in Q1. Now, we didn't get off to the best start, it has to be said, as we get loose through the Dunlop there up the hill and just lose the back end onto the gravel, and Renault drives past. So not the best start to qualifying by any means, and there's no traffic on the way, so I'll quickly rejoin the racetrack. But what I am going to do is turn the engine down, make sure the tyre temperatures get back under control, and I'm going to stay out and try and go for a lap on these tyres. And you can see here now at the end of that lap, we managed to actually get in a pretty decent one in fairness, considering we had a spin. This was actually quite a strong lap. We're now going to end sector 2. You can see right about now we're 1.5 pretty much seconds up on Grosjean, so we are looking pretty safe as we now make our way into the final chicane, the Casio Triangle. And sector 3 was actually by far my strongest sector all weekend long. We make our way now at the final corner, running up to the line, opening DRS, and we go P6 with a purple sector 3, and that is more than enough to see us comfortably into Q2. So we survive a bit of an early scare. Ricciardo setting the pace, Gasly up in second place for Renault, and they've definitely improved. Renault look really strong in certain races, which is quite impressive. Singapore springs to mind, where Gasly did a good job around there, and Ocon as well. But nonetheless, we move to Q2. Now, this time no spins, a lot more routine and straightforward session this time. And this was my first time lapping Q2, to be fair. And we've got the benchmark from Q1 to try and beat. Now we're going to end sector 2. You can see here we're about half a second up on Kevin Magnussen, who's in P12. So not the best lap in terms of being safe, but this final sector again is where I'm so strong, and I find so much time. We absolutely nailed the final chicane, get the power down, and now run up to the line. DRS open, and it's going to be a 122.3. And we go P2 behind Pierre Gasly, so the pace has actually dropped a little bit in Q2 compared to Q1, but still we end the Q2 in 4th place, Ricciardo quickest with a 22.1, and you know what, not too bad, my quickest lap of the weekend, so I'll take it, and we comfortably move into Q3, both cars looking very strong, Gasly in the mix once again for Renault, so it looks like he could be here to stay. Ocon P7 in the second Renault, and then Hamilton in second place as well, my main championship rival, along with Ricciardo. We then move into Q3 now, so here we are, you can see my first lap, I'm 4/10 up on Verstappen through the second sector, and now through the Casio triangle, we're going to try and take it easy here, throwing the car into the right and then the left, and then quickly back on the gas again out of here, this time keeping the car tight to the right hand side for the shortest run to the line. We go P5, it's a 22.1, which is 2/10 quicker than our Q2 time, but only good enough for 5th place, so not ideal. The AI kind of stepped up the pace a little bit in the final part of qualifying, but this was my best lap of the session. So let's see what the lap was like, and let's see where we finish. So let's go for a full lap of Suzuka, my personal favourite lap of the entire season. And there we go, across the line, we improved by 0.2 of a second. I lost a little bit of time through the final chicane actually. I gave away a 10th on the corner exit alone, but it wouldn't have made a difference because Bottas was just over a 10th up the road anyway. So Ricciardo on pole, a 121.5, which is ridiculous. I was really happy personally because I didn't think I could get a 121. I didn't think I had that kind of pace in me, so a very good lap from me in qualifying. Here Gasly P5 just behind us, and Hamilton and Bottas splitting both 97 cars, so fair play. Bottas and Hamilton, this is their last chance mathematically to stay within the title fight, but that is it for qualifying, guys. Ricciardo on pole, we finished P4, so fair play to Ricciardo, but crucially, the top 4 in the championship are top 4 on the grid here today for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Your teammate beat you today. Was it a setup issue or something else?
No, I just think Ricciardo did a better job than me today. He was quicker, and fair play to him. I know I can't take that away from him. He did a great job this afternoon in qualifying.
You won't be starting at the front of the pack. Are you worried?
No, not really. I'm not too worried. There's not many things that worry me. I think we've got a good car, we can fight, so I'm not too concerned. We'll just get on with it tomorrow in the race, probably.
Great. Well, that's everything.
And there we go then, after qualifying, we look at the brand new rivalry breakdown, this time with Valtteri Bottas to switch it up because we've done the last two with Lewis Hamilton. And Bottas, to be fair, takes an early lead after that qualifying session, but hopefully we'll turn that around in the race. Meanwhile, in terms of a claim, Ricciardo gets so close to level 17 after qualifying, but hopefully he'll hit that after the race. But guys, that is it for qualifying here today. We're now going to move to the race here for the Japanese Grand Prix, a race in which we do have an outside chance of winning the World Drivers' Championship.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Daniel Ricciardo has a clear view ahead from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Martinez, Pierre Gasly and Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Leclerc and Esteban Ocon, Norris, Vettel, Daniel Kvyat and Magnussen, Stroll, Russell, Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi. Grosjean, De Vries, Aitken and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Here we go then, it's time for the Japanese Grand Prix, starting from 4th place on the grid on the 2nd row, but on the dirty side of the grid, we've got our 3 title rivals ahead of us, Bottas, Hamilton and Ricciardo, and today the main target is to make sure we eliminate the Mercedes drivers from title contention. Therefore, we have to outscore them, simple as that, or finish. I think if we finish where we are, we should be okay, but fingers crossed today we can knock Hamilton and Bottas out of being mathematically title contenders, and then that would just leave Daniel Ricciardo, and also we can try and extend our championship lead today in the constructors if possible. We then look at the race strategy. We're going to start on the soft tyres, of course, that we qualified on, and move on to the mediums. A very simple one-stop strategy here today. No rain expected in theory, and fuel-wise, I've underfueled by half a lap, so we should be hopefully a bit quicker at the start. I'm a bit concerned about tyre temperatures, but we'll see how that goes. Either way, guys, let's get into the race, and let's see how it goes as we now jump into things here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Here we go then. Let's see what kind of start we get as we build up the revs to the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. It's not the best start you'll ever see. Gasly gets the jump into turn 1. I've got to settle in for P5, so a bit of a shame really. Didn't get away that well. Ricciardo holds the lead crucially, which is good news for us as a team. The AI are going to be very, very quick here at the start of this race, I think, so we're going to have to make sure we stay on them. The first 2 laps, of course, they always run maximum power. They use all of their ERS, so our race will begin around lap 3 probably. But let's see how we get on here. I'm looking forward to this one. I love this track so much. It's so much fun, but I'm going to try and drive smooth and a bit cautiously about tyre temperatures because I want to make sure we don't have any issues. The fact it's overcast will help in terms of maintaining a bit less tyre temperature as the track should be a bit cooler. Meanwhile, look at this exit here on Pierre Gasly, actually. Very nice run out the hairpin, but I've got overtaking gauge, but I don't think, actually, yes we do. We're going to get the run here down the inside into Spoon. I didn't think that'd be a thing, but we've done it, and we go through, and we go back up to P4. So there we go, nice little overtake on Pierre. At first, I couldn't make any gains on the straight, but then suddenly we just started to really pull him in. So there we go, we've got ahead of one of the Renaults, and we're back to where we started. Ricciardo has absolutely bolted out front. He's getting on with it straight away here. We've got Bottas up ahead, so let's see if we can try and close in on him and make some moves on the 2 Mercs, similar to the last race in Sochi. The final sector is definitely my strongest one by far. We're so good into that final chicane on the brakes. Look at this here now on Bottas.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I thought about it, but I wasn't quite close enough to go for the move. There's no need to risk it so early. We can definitely give ourselves some time. I feel like I've got some good pace though. Gasly behind, now out of DRS range. Meanwhile, Ricciardo up front, really stretching from Hamilton here, trying to break the DRS. Let's see if we can get past Bottas this time around with DRS assistance. Here we go again. I've closed in so much on the brakes. You can see into the chicane there how much we close up to Bottas. Nice clean exit. This time we'll get DRS. Of course, Bottas has DRS on Hamilton, but we'll get an even stronger slipstream this time. Here we go. We're gaining on him. We're going to pull to the inside into turn 1. Oh, we get squeezed, but Bottas runs in hot. He locks up, and there we go. We're through and up into P3 and ahead of one of the Mercedes drivers. 1 more remains. Here we go then. I've dropped Bottas out of DRS range, and we're now within DRS range of Lewis Hamilton. We're going to set an improved personal best and fastest lap as we extend the pace even more and try to push on here. Let's see if we can try and get past Lewis now. We've definitely got the pace to win this race without a doubt, so I'm going to make sure we try and do that here today. Here we go. Ricciardo actually getting on with it a little bit this lap, and he's pulling away from Hamilton, which means I'm getting a stronger toe and I'm able to catch up on him. Let's see if we can line him up for an overtake. Thought about it on the brakes there, 'cause I'm quite good. Hamilton locks up though for good measure. That's going to put him on the back foot. He gets a bit loose for traction as well. This should be a straightforward overtake. Here we go then, on Lewis Hamilton.
Strategy is available on the MFD.
Going to switch to the outside this time. We just get ahead before turn 1, and there we go. We make a nice move on with the second place. What's the strategy then?
Copy.
We'll stick to the original, lap 10. Because I think I can pass Ricciardo before lap 10. So here we go then, a carbon copy of Russia, getting past both Mercedes cars, and now we've got to try and hunt down our teammate. So let's see if we can do that here today, and try and get ahead of him before the pit stop so we get first choice. Hamilton out of DRS range already. Very strong lap from us. On for another personal best / fastest lap. Here we go. There it is. And we're now closing down on Daniel Ricciardo here. We've got so much more pace. Here we go, we're closing on Ricciardo. Into the Casio triangle. Get the line absolutely perfect, which we do. Traction down. And now we wait for the DRS. Let's see.
We're approaching the pit window.
Come on.
You'll be on the mediums.
We're gaining. Look at the speed difference. To the inside we go. And there we go. We're through into the lead of the race. Just like that. Job done. Incredible pace from us. Nice clean overtakes all round. Decisive overtakes. And we're now at the front on lap 8 of the Japanese Grand Prix. Still 20 laps to go pretty much. Still a long way to go in this race. Great pace from us. We've pulled away from Ricciardo.
In this lap, push now.
Yep, we're going to pit. Hamilton pits.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Pit confirm. We're going to box in this lap and get that out of the way nice and early. Right, here we go. We're going to box this lap. First stint has been great. Tyres have just about held on. Had a few temperature issues, but generally a smooth first stint. Tyre wear very low around here, of course. No issues, but there we go. Into the pits we go. We're going to box with the medium tyres, hoping for a nice quick stop. Fingers crossed, sub 2.5. That would be ideal. Bottas, Gasly pit behind us as well. I'm expecting Verstappen as well. Here we go.
Complete, go now.
2.8, not bad. I was hoping for a bit quicker, but it seems like we don't get fast stops anymore. But let's rejoin in clean air.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Oh, we just got in front of Albon there. Crucial move. Hamilton behind on the hard compound tyres, interestingly, but crucially we got out ahead of Albon there. Really good timing on that, as we won't get held up by him, and we can get on with it on our outlap. We're already P4, so we're looking very good this race to wrap up the points. Ricciardo's in the pit lane. Let's see if we maintain our race lead as Magnussen pits. Ricciardo onto the hard tyres, interestingly, but we are comfortably out ahead of him. There we go, and we're back into what would be the net race lead, but we've got the tyre advantage now. We're on medium, so not sure why the AI have gone for the hards, but either way, we're out ahead comfortably, and we've got the better tyre, so we should be good to wrap this one up. On an absolute flyer here on these tyres. So much grip, so much performance. We're going to smash our previous personal best and set a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. There we go, 24.7. That should do it for the fastest lap, hopefully. We're closing in on Lando. Let's see if we can try and get in this lap. Oh, there we go, Lando pits. I was just going to line him up for a move there, but no need. There we go, back up into P1. Pretty much just over half race distance, and we're looking good for another 25, possibly 26 points here. And just to confirm the fastest lap, one more coming up right here with the DRS assistance at the start of the lap. There we go, that should wrap it up hopefully. We can now cruise to the finish. Now a bit of championship permutations for you guys, so you know what's up right now. I'm not really expecting to win the title of this race. I don't think it's going to happen. The only way it could happen now is if Ricciardo DNF'd. If Ricciardo DNF'd, that would give me the championship. But like I said, I'm not expecting it to happen. So at the minute, it's going to go on to the next race, but Ricciardo will be the only challenger for the championship with 100 points up for grabs. He's going to be inside the 100-point bracket. Just coming out to a bit of traffic now. A few lapped cars on the way. Mainly Haas and Alfa Romeo are coming up. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Pretty regular racetrack, and there shouldn't be any traffic issues, as looks like this Haas is going to pull over to the left-hand side. That's Romain Grosjean. So we breeze past him. I'm not even trying, like, I'm not even pushing that much, and we're still pulling away from Ricciardo. This has been very comfortable, the second stint. Gasly has just overtaken Hamilton for P3. That is absolutely massive for the championship, both for the drivers and constructors. Oh, okay, Ricciardo takes away my fastest lap. Fair enough. Don't think I've got a response to that, to be honest. I'm nowhere near my personal best at the minute. Well, here we go then. I've tried to push on this lap. I'm going to use up all my ERS to see if we can get anything out of this. But I've got to say, it's been a dominant performance here. You know, we didn't score any points in Spa, and since then we've won every single race. Monza, Singapore, Russia, and now the Japanese Grand Prix. Here we go, through the final corner, and there we go, another win. Yes!
Awesome driving today. That's 4 race wins in a row.
Can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Well guys, there it is. The results are in for the Japanese Grand Prix. We make it a 1-2 finish once again. 4 race wins on the spin for me, and we are storming towards the championship. Ricciardo second with a fastest lap, fair play. Pierre Gasly P3 in a Renault, what a drive from him. And he overtook both Mercedes on merit on track, which is incredible. Verstappen P6 for Red Bull ahead of Perez, Norris, Leclerc and Ocon, who scores the final point. Then we have missing out the points, Carlos Sainz ahead of Magnussen, Albon, Kvyat, Vettel, Stroll, Russell, Latifi, Aitken, Giovinazzi, De Vries and Romain Grosjean, who was a lap down. We then move into the standings, and after that race we are 93 points clear of Ricciardo. The mathematic equation is very simple for the championship. Heading to the next race, if we outscore Ricciardo by 7 points, it's done, or vice versa. If Ricciardo is not within 75 points by the end of the race, then pretty much it's game over. We've won the championship. Also officially confirmed, Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas are out of the running for the World Drivers' Championship. So the winner of the title will be a 97 Martini Racing driver. And then finally, the constructor standings, 157 points is the gap. We could win the championship in the next race. I'm not exactly sure what the permutations are, but I think it's very, very close, and we should be able to win it in the next race if all goes according to plan. And guys, a big episode here today. We are taking a huge leap towards both championships, and it could all happen in the next race in Mexico or USA, I believe. So guys, hopefully you tune in for the next race, but for now, let's move to the laptop and let's put on some more upgrades onto the car.
How good does it feel to have both cars in your team take the top spots?
It's the best feeling there is. You know, that's what we strive for. That's what everyone works for. And, you know, it's great that the team get that reward. It really is.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
We just pushed flat out, to be honest. We knew we had the pace. We struggled with one lap pace this season all year long, but in the race we tend to have a much stronger rhythm, and we can just go flat out and the engine takes it.
It wasn't your rival's day today, was it?
Maybe not, but I think, you know, they're working hard. You know, and every driver has their day. But for me, you know, today we did a good job today.
How do you feel seeing your teammate up on the podium?
It's great. You know, I'm not sure why Daniel's calling it a day or why he's retiring, but for these remaining races, the more times he's on the podium, the better. You know, that's what it's all about, and I'm really happy about it.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Now, after qualifying, we look at the rivalry breakdown. As you can see, we outscored Bottas by 3 points, and we take an early lead in the brand new rivalry. I could have gone for Lewis again, but I thought to myself, you know what? Let's switch it up and go for someone different. In terms of acclaim, we level up. Ricciardo, does he go up to level 17? Not quite. He's just shy. So hopefully he'll hit that in the next race. But yeah, acclaim really doesn't matter that much anymore now, to be honest. And we then look at the cash. Again, a full payout on bonuses, which is great. So we hit all of our targets. And then in terms of the damage reductions, quite a lot on my end, which I'm not sure why, but still it doesn't affect us too much. And we're now almost at $45 million. Well, here we are then back on the laptop. We have an invitational event on the 16th, but we're probably going to skip it as we don't really need the acclaim anymore. Activities wise, we've got 3 days until the invitational, so we'll go for race simulations. We'll then throw on a team building exercise, which is great to improve team morale, and then 2 more days left for a G-Force training, so hopefully Ricardo will be a lot more competitive in the final couple of races. We then move over to the R&D graph, and we're going to protect some more upgrades, so we're going to go for a bit of aerodynamic work this time, so we'll go for these ones here, which are quite cheap, don't affect too much, and we'll try and cover off the first 5 if we can. There we go, 1 more to go. So that covers that off. We then move back over to the chassis. We'll try and buy maybe one of these cheap ones here. Can we get this one? Yeah, 312. We'll go for that one. And there we go. That's the situation right now in terms of protecting parts. The durability is almost done. Chassis, still a long way to go. Aerodynamics also a long way to go, but we're getting there slowly but surely. And with that said, we now move and skip ahead to the next race in USA. And there we go then, guys, that is it for today's episode. The next race will be at the Circuit of the Americas. But guys, if you enjoyed today's video and our 4th race win in a row, then smash the like button, guys. Let's see if we can try and hit 1,000 likes for today's video. Also subscribe for more F1 content, which is daily on the channel, and check out the 2 videos on your screen right now if you haven't seen them already. But guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time in a race in which we could potentially clinch both championships.